Well, the finance sector is back at its desk, ready to deal with 2013. Chamber of Commerce President Peter McIntyre is here to give us his thoughts on the year ahead. Good evening, Peter.
Good evening, Rebecca.
How are the markets looking?
Well, I think if you look at 2012, our New Zealand Stock Exchange increased by around about 24%. And I don't expect that our market to increase by that same level again this year. But interest rates are very, very low. Volatility globally is very low. You've got an improving situation in the US. So I think investors have some confidence about entering the market, but I just wouldn't expect the same sort of return as we had in 2012, which was pretty stellar.
Now, news this morning suggested that the New Zealand dollar may extend its gains. What are your thoughts
there?
Yeah,
well, I think it will. I think there's every chance you've got a weakening dollar policy in the US, so we're likely to strengthen against the American dollar. But also, the Reserve Bank of Australia met today. They maintained their interest rate, base interest rate at 3%. Ours is sitting at 2.5%. But they also indicated that they're likely to decrease interest rates further on. So we're expecting a decrease in March. So over the last couple of weeks, we've risen against the Australian dollar by the tune of 3%. I think we need to really closely monitor this because Australia is our biggest export partner. So that's going to add further pressure on our manufacturers, particularly those that are exporting to the eastern seaboard of Australia.
What kind of a drop are you expecting interest rates to make?
What, in Australia or in New Zealand?
No, in New Zealand.
Well, I think the Reserve Bank has every reason to reduce interest rates. If you look at our inflation rate, it's 0.9. It's benign. We're just about heading into deflation. Tradable inflation is practically, well, it is negative. So I think the Reserve Bank of New Zealand has the mandate to decrease interest rates, but they're concerned about what's happening in the housing sector, particularly in Christchurch and Auckland, which is sort of handbraking them. But look, I think there's every reason for the Reserve Bank to decrease rates. I don't think they will. I think interest rates will probably stay stable till the middle of 2014.
What's the general state of the economy like?
Well, if you look at the general state of the economy, look at the government's books are pretty strong. If you look at the rural sector, it's pretty strong. If you look at the manufacturing sector, it's very weak. If you look at unemployment, it's actually ticking up. It's getting close to 8%. So again, every reason to stimulate the economy by further monetary policy, by decreasing interest rates, but the Reserve Bank are just handbraked by what's happening in Auckland and in Christchurch with regards to the housing market. And house price inflation is starting to take up because we've had historically low interest rates. What
issues are likely to affect us locally in the economy?
Locally in the economy, I think manufacturers are struggling. I think retailers are really struggling, particularly with the continuing presence of online and with a strong dollar. More and more customers or consumers are looking to get better deals online. So we've got to be concerned about our main street and our vibrancy of our main street. We've got to be concerned about some of our manufacturers, and we've also, if you look at Hillside. But on the other hand, I think we've got some pretty good, if you look at our hinterland, the rural economy is strong, so that generally feeds the service sector of Dunedin. As far as cities go, we're in pretty good shape, I think, other than that we're carrying quite a high debt load. Some other cities outside of Christchurch and Auckland are probably struggling worse than Dunedin. So I just think that we just got to get on and make best with what we can do, really.
And on a completely different note, what's in store for the Chamber this year?
The Chamber's going to be very project-based this year. Obviously, we've signed off on the economic development strategy with the city, and we've got Project Shanghai, so there'll be a delegation going there in March, April. We're signing off again, well, the Mayor's signing off with a sister-city relationship. I think another issue that the Chamber's going to get heavily involved in this year is earthquake strengthening. If you look at Dunedin, Otago and Southland with regards to historic buildings, we have 25% of historic buildings in New Zealand. So we have got such a major issue around affordability of those landowners or those to actually get those buildings up to earthquake standards or the government's earthquake standards. So we'll be looking at tax issues and working with tax partners to see what sort of lobbying we can do with regards to try and make repairs and maintenance on historic buildings more tax effective. So that's a key issue for us over the next 12 months.
Otago Chamber of Commerce President Peter McIntyre, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.